Hey, welcome back. It has been stupid fly. I'm so ready to do this. Are you ready, Bella? You've not even gotten out of bed. Oh my gosh, it's like 5 in the afternoon. I'm okay. We got this. Helpers are alert and messy. Got our sketch. Welcome back to the channel. It has been a hot minute. And I've been working and trying to come up with things. So yeah. But my car has decided to not work. So I have to take it in Friday. So I won't be able to do a bunch of fun, large projects like I had planned. And the ones I did have planned, I just haven't gotten done fast enough. So we're gonna do a fun little guy that I've wanted to do for a few weeks, probably close to a month now. The idea for this guy is he's gonna be an art doll. So we're diving back into the art doll realm. I'm gonna finish him. I've gotta finish him. We're back on the we gotta finish stuff line. This is the main basics and size that I drew him up as. He's gonna be a fuzzy little guy. So the idea was to use materials that I already had. And what really inspired me the most was this moss fur that I had made for my moss bag. And I have not a lot of it left, but I think I'm gonna have just enough to do him, probably a bit more, but I might just toss the rest of that. But I at least wanted to get one more out of him before he says goodbye. So we're glad for extras. But this is what mostly inspired me. So we're gonna have a moss armadillo, and it's gonna be very cottagecore whimsy. And I also have some Crayola air dry clay, and I'm going to make his shell tree bark. So he's gonna be, instead of curling up into a ball for protector, he's gonna just be like a fainting goat, collapse on his stomach, and pretend to be a log. Because I wanted to do that. Because I think it'd be cute. So I've already spent yesterday sculpting, baking, and putting together an armature wire based off of this design. Here is what I have come up with from that, just to give a little closer view. Don't glare at me like that. I did sculpt ears, and you did see me making ears, but I figured they would be a little bit too large and clunky for him right now. So I think I'm going to try to just make some fur ears on him out of the fur. And his little feet are very big for his body, but he's actually going to be a mix of two armadillo species that I found. One is the typical cute armadillo that we all see squished on the side of the road, which is so sad. But the other one is going to be the pink lady armadillo. It's kind of funny looking, but the shell I think fits much better into this style of what I'm doing. So since the shell is going to be wood textured, I made his feet wood textured as well, just because I thought that would be a lie. If they did stick out, it would look like little tree stumps. So there is the beginning of our art doll. Very, can't get them all into frame. Here's the head. I'm a sucker for a long tail, which is why I really wanted to do the traditional armadillo because they got tails for days. But our next step is going to be to wrap this armor body with some polyfill quilt batting. Quilt batting. That's what it's called. Okay. This is basically just going to be a KP tutorial. Love her, by the way. I'm sure everyone knows who she is. Amazing art doll. I'm kind of shocked she hasn't done this before, and I've not really seen this idea a whole lot, which I'm a bit shocked at. So hopefully this is the beginning of moss, cottagecore, fairy, woodsy armadillos. Fingers crossed. We'll get started on him, and I can get back to my video. Because guess what? Secret of the Mimic has come out sometime, and I have not watched all of it yet. So I feel behind. Okay, we're gonna do it on a time lapse because this is going to be boring. So I have quilt batted him, and I have cut the fur to the correct length. So I'm following basically KP's kind of just throw it together and do it. But I am switching where she does her seams, and this was just a happy accident. As you saw, the foot unfortunately broke. So when I go up to sew this guy, I'm probably going to do this off camera because it's not going to be like a proper stitch or anything. When I do these, it's literally just sew it until it's closed with no proper stitching or anything like that. If you want a more in-detailed video on how to go about doing one of these things really well, go check out hers. This is kind of just for pure entertainment and cute little guy syndromes. But the main difference is that she sews hers along the belly. Since mine's gonna be wearing a shell, I'm going to be doing him along the back. So I think the seam is gonna go right there, and that's gonna be pretty well. I left plenty of space because for me, I always have less up at the top where I need to glue the head on, and I've not done the little leggies yet. I'm gonna sew those when I sew this body on first, because I'm going to do the body and then the legs. But basically for the legs, I'm going to use this scrap of fabric and just cut out little squares, and you're just going to make little tubes and stitch them on the feet. I get so discouraged when I do art dolls and stuff like this because the Sculpey I have and every clay I use, like, it always busts, and I don't necessarily like. I get this so far, and then it's so depressing when like a little foot just jumps off, and I have a triceratops or like a toe breaks off. But yeah, I have a triceratops that I've been wanting to finish for months, but it's like the same problem with the feet. I can't, no matter how much hot glue I put on it, resin or anything, it just doesn't want to stick to the wire, and I'm kind of just at a point I don't know what to do with it. Because I have all the stuff to finish it, I just don't know how to get the feet to attach to the wire without breaking, falling off, or just becoming a weird mess. So if you guys have any tips or tricks, help me out on that one, please, because I really would like to finish her. I really do like the design that I gave her, but I just can't figure out how to get her feet to stay on. Feet, along with noses, seem to be one of my weaknesses. But I'm gonna go sew this guy closed now, and the tail, you probably might have noticed, sticks out a bit longer, but I do want this guy to be a bit taut so that there's not a lot of excess fabric, and I can just fit this over the end, and that'll enclose. You can't really see it, but there, okay. So it does encase the very end, even though it doesn't look like it. I just have to stretch the fabric to tightness, which is kind of what I want as well. So I will be back when he is all green. And after that, I think we're going to attempt to make the shell, which I have maybe a few ideas on, but clearly I look like this little girl with no thoughts behind the eyes. Yeah, no thoughts. My idea is to maybe do cling wrap and build him on there, because it's going to take a while to dry, and I'm not going to paint anything until like the very end, because it's the wood draping is going to have to be sewn on, and then it's going to have to be painted, and then I want the feet to match the wood, so I think if I just paint it all at once, that'll help with the color matching. But until then, so I'm gonna go do that, and then we'll be back when it's time to build the wood shell. Yep. Okay, yay, welcome back. Brand new camera angle. Here we are now. After moving the cat, we are back with our long, lengthy boy. He is dried. His mushrooms fully aren't dried at the bottom yet because they were sitting flat down. And this one failed, but it looks kind of like a fried egg. So, you know, down one mushroom, up one fried egg. So, I'm just gonna flip the mushrooms over to dry. And I'm still probably gonna paint them tonight, if not tomorrow. Went to the store, got some new sacrifices because I couldn't be bothered to clean the old victims. I need to find some way to motivate myself. Because this ain't it. So, honestly, plan is to just paint him. That's pretty much it. Browns, greens, mushrooms are going to be accent blues. I'll probably not talk a lot during the time lapse because I genuinely find painting the worst part of it. Like, I've been putting this off 4 days because I just don't want to do it. But I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna think about the camera, and hopefully you guys will be able to see more of what I'm doing with this contraption. Or it'll just fall and break the art dust. So either way, this might be the end. So if it abruptly ends, you'll know. It got squished by my iPad. Yeah. Okay, let's get started. Okay, painting is at least done. There's that fried egg mushroom fail. You know, I think it looks better as a fried egg than a mushroom, but here's our little critter after he's all painted. No time lapse. I am gonna wait and film him down tomorrow off camera, but it's not gonna be anything super interesting. But yes, here he is. My phone battery is pretty low now, but he looks like a little critter. I'm gonna leave him to dry along with the mushrooms. What I didn't explain is I had this idea as I was doing it to do like they were glowing, and I had some leftover glitter. So I threw some over there, and I took clear Elmer's glue and mixed it together. I like to do that with my glitter because glitter it's everywhere, but the glue keeps it in place exactly where I want it, so none of it's gonna flake off. I don't really know how they're gonna look until they are dry, but they do look pretty sparkly as of right now. I hope they just get more sparklier. I was worried because when you do the glue mixture plus glitter like this, it can become kind of like a wet sand texture depending on what glitter you use, and it can become more sand than glue. So I did want it to be more of the glue side as well, but I think it's pretty good. Cat helper has been sleeping all the time. My phone is almost dead, so good painting day, I guess. Oh, also, I tried to show it in the time-lapse video, but how I did this is I would personally use a toothpick. I am the laziest person possible, and I had safety pins. So I just used this guy, unhooked it, bent it so it was straight, and tried not to poke myself, and just did a little design. I tried to show it in the speed lapse, so maybe you saw it, maybe not, but yeah, okay. Here's a little egg. Super cute. Dun 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 dun! Sorry about the fan, it's hot, but Fuzzy Boy's done! So he's all set together. It is the next day, because I didn't want to deal with the cats, that's why we're upstairs. No cats, but we do got a dog over there snacking. So, today we're going to tackle the wood texture. My idea for that is I want to sculpt it on him. So I'm going to position him in like just a resting position like this, tail a little bit flatter. I'm going to cover him in saran wrap and then just put this Model Mate, whatever Crayola Model Magic air dry play, I think, just on top of it, and as it dries it should hopefully form to his shape. So yeah, let's fingers crossed that works. All the clay is used, which I'm very happy with, and this is kind of what he looks like so far. These holes that you see that I was poking in are, I'm going to try to sew this wood shell onto him so that I made little holes for my needle to go through. And then I did want to have a little something right there. So he's got a little crown. I think it's good. I made little mushroom tops with the leftover clay, and I'll attach that somehow to that. I'm not really sure how yet. I'm thinking with wire because I want an accent color to be blue based on some Pinterest photos I found. And I'll make Izzy put the Pinterest board in comments below so you can see, but I really want an accent color to be really bright blue, so I think that'll be good with him. And yeah, so now he just has to dry for a while, and yeah, we'll be back with the dreaded painting time. Ugh, I hate painting. Okay, seriously, that's not what I put that bed there for. You don't get two beds. I can't even clean half of my desk off. No, ma'am. This was not your bed. This was for the other one. Yeah, it was. Do you want this one now instead? Is that it? Okay, wrap up time. I'm glad I made him. Materials I would have liked to be a little bit different. He's definitely not the best thing I've made. I'm still learning how to do the feet. He's lost all mobility of his little leggies. He still has a bit of mobility in his neck and the very, very tip of the tail. He did already crack his wooden shell, so there's not a whole lot of mobility in the body because of the shell, because of the material I was using. It wasn't very well. The mushrooms are detachable. The moss is glued on. So yeah, this little guy is also going to be up for sale because I honestly need the money because my car just did not like me this month. So if you would like him, there will be a link in the description of where you can pick this little guy up. He's not very mobile, but you know, not everyone is, and we all have critters that we love all together. They don't have to be mobile to love them, but I think he will be a very good, interesting shelf pet for someone. And if not, if no one finds him a home, he will definitely be in my 2026 Ren Fair vendors, and hopefully we find him a good home then. So yeah, this little guy doesn't have a name or anything like that. I also forgot his ears, but I honestly think he's fine without them. I have enough to make one more because I didn't use all of the green moss fabric, so I might make another one just for my Renaissance Fair booth if I feel up to it, and just make him not legs mobile and just maybe the same mobility as this one. But I really do want to work on the wood because I think it is a very interesting idea. I just don't think the material I used was very good this time, but I think he's not bad. I think he's very sweet. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.